Hello and welcome back to our continuing adventures on the Let's Defend platform. Today we are beginning the first of, first of four exercises, or alerts I suppose you could look at it, that occurred March 7th, 2021. Today's is at 4:50 p.m. It is a SOC134 suspicious WMI activity. Event ID is 71. So what we have is the detection around suspicious WMI activity on the desktop-Anderson system. 172.16.17.54. I believe this was one of the the workstation used in one of the DFIR exercises. So let's see, we have x.bat. That I've already pulled down. And that's what it looks like. I blew it up so it would be easier to look at. So basically that batch file invokes Python to it itself execute the WMI x.py script, and it's fed for the Let's Defend domain, the administrator user account at the local host IP address. What's missing from this that I can see, let's take that notepad off the screen and looking into what exactly is WMIX.py, the closest thing I can find, or the most items, looks like it's a script provided by Impact. And it's generally used for lateral movement by the looks of it. So the example that they give of it being used, I'll zoom that up. So it again shows the whole aspect of WMIEXEC.py, the domain, or I guess it could be localhost as well, depending. The user account, but what's missing is the colon followed by the password. Of course, maybe the admin account doesn't have a password. I don't know. That's a rather crappy design of the workstation rollout, but okay. So I'll include a link to this. It's an article titled Hunting for Impact. And it looks like basically this then. So we're going to see a call for WMIPR vse.exe. And it looks like typically it goes through and you see command.exe/q for quiet. So if we go and take a look at the endpoint section, desktop-Anderson, granted the last login time is December 19th, but if we look at the process list, we do see WMI prvse.exe in the same or with the same path as what was outlined. So C Windows System 32 WBEM. And what we see is the child process of that command.exe/q/k. This one calls Python. Let's see, is there anything else? Admin test. And this could technically be a stretch, because if I remember correctly, this was, what, a month or two ago? If this particular exercise had been put out, I remember this being here, or at least has been used someplace else. Granted, the fact we don't have a time and date stamp in terms of when this kicked off, something to point to March 7th, around 2:50 p.m. Kind of makes it a little bit difficult to ascertain as to whether or not this is fully on the level or what the case is. Of course, we are missing the whole aspect of the rest of the command. But then again, from that. I mean, it looks like that could possibly be the execution. I suppose the other aspect would be too. So let's keep this up. If we go back, I think one of the items was the actual talking about the example from Impact. Impact as to whether or not if it would denote exactly what it is indeed trying to run. So can we match a string in here that might start off with the whole cmd.exe /q/ was it k? Okay, so let's see. So Q, turn echo off, so basically try to run the sucker as quiet. K, run the following command and then return to the command prompt. So you can run something else. Okay, so that kind of feeds into that. One and two. Username, password, domain. Oh, here, let's, instead of just kind of searching around. So it looks like by default, only one hit for command.exe, so it should be /q/c. Of course, who's to say that wasn't taken and adjusted? But this one specifies K, so I don't know. I mean, just the sheer fact of why would there be a batch file to kick off or call Python and then execute a Python script with that information inside of it looks a little bit odd to me. Well, it's just flying down this whole rabbit hole as opposed to what I usually start with, dumping the sucker in VirusTotal. So VirusTotal doesn't have a big problem with it. Giant shock because it's basically just a batch file that's going to call other commands. There is nothing inherently malicious about the batch file. It would be the commands that it's set to fire off, but apparently nothing has an issue with this. This is current. I'm pretty sure it's been longer than a minute since I resubmitted, but it's as of current day of recording. So if we go take a look at the malware reports, there were 3 items with the hash that we are provided, but they are going to tell us absolutely nothing, as the default sandbox I have access to because I have a free account. Python is not mentioned in the slightest, at least not that I've seen or come across. You got Adobe Flash, you've got Java, whole metric ton of Microsoft items, giant shock, but nothing there in regards to Python. And lo and behold, pull up one of the 3 samples, and yes, absolutely nothing. You get the execution of the batch file, but no HTTP requests, no connections, no DNS requests, and no threats. Because it really wasn't able to do anything. We jump over to hybrid analysis. And it does break down. We do have a hit, although interestingly enough, related sandbox artifacts with a SHA-256 hash. We go and we try to follow the link and no search results. So it's related, but it's not. Now what I have not done is take that supposed related SHA-256 I have not dumped it into VirusTotal to see what that says in regards to it, nor have I attempted to search any.run. Any.run we do have. March 18th, March 23rd, 31st. That's all a zip file. So let's see. So that looks like that was the batch file just included inside of there. And then of course it's not going to do anything because, unfortunately, can't follow the line with that. Okay, well that was, it's an empty hole. And so these are all just going to be zip files that contain the, okay, so I guess that it makes sense then. No sense to keep the zip around. Administrator at 1, yeah, so the local loopback. 127.0.0.1. And if this was just, yeah, so it does not have the rest of the items to call forth. And I don't know as to whether or not these standard sandboxes come with. If these even have Python. So let's see, you would have to give it, yeah, I don't know. So effectively, we do not have a whole heck of a lot. Well, here's a question. How about you are a host? Is there anything there that would basically give us an edge? No. Okay then. Checking log sources. So it talked to itself back on December 19th, and same thing moving forward, December 19th. ABC News, ABC News, Project Wiki, Apache, 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 TechCrunch. What did I try to reach out to itself for? AE User Project Wiki. Okay, I'm just curious enough to throw safety to the wind. What is this? Portion on creating wiki. Okay, so that does not help us in any way, shape, or form. Okay, so I guess we're going to take ownership of this. And we're going to run through the playbook. So now with this, we got two divergent thought processes. If, just by looking at what's been provided to us, the batch file, there is not anything there that we can say is absolutely 100% malicious. Given the fact that I question why there would be a batch file to sit there and kick off something from Impacket, even if it has been modified to call the local or the admin account on the local host, it smells. It doesn't pass the sniff test, regardless. So I will probably No unexpected service application configured. Well, would you consider WMI activity as services or... and again, it's not really set for automatic launch. I'll put down other. Check if the malware is quarantine cleaned. Let's see, I believe go back to my notes. Action was allowed, so we're going to say no. Analyze it. Now here would be the point where I will probably get marked down, because I cannot think of any legitimate use, even lacking evidence per virus total, everything else like that. I'm going to mark it as malicious activity. Not so much malware, but just bad activity. And I don't know, I may get this right, I may get this wrong, but I make a case either which way, because unfortunately, given the fact that this is a test exercise, I really can't hunt down this Anderson person and find out, hey, why do you have a batch file that's sitting there calling the admin account? Because I'm assuming the domain is Let's Defend. I'm assuming so. Yeah, domain Let's Defend. So, okay. Yeah, so it is calling that stuff. And why do you have a script that, then calls a Python script? Why do you have Python installed? Are you a developer? What is Anderson's role? I mean, if I take it just on the basis of what's been provided to me, and here's the other portion too. So, as a SOC 1 analyst, I mean, this obviously should be flagged for review from somebody higher up that might actually be able to get somebody on this. Problem I see is the fact that, okay, all the evidence, depending as to how firm your playbook, your SOC rules would be, okay, doesn't flag on VT. Why are you bothering me with this? So unfortunately, I'm going to say it's malicious. I realize I'm probably going to get marked down for it. But this would be the point where basically it's going to be escalated. Oh wait, no, I want that in reverse. So that is what? X.bat will denote for impacket. Couldn't find any sort of C2 access. Finish the playbook. So again, I fully expect that I'm going to be marked down because there's no evidence of this portion being malicious. And I'm not even going to fight that fact. I would take this effectively to the mat. SOC manager, or involve SOC level 2, SOC level 3. Of course, I guess it just really depends. I mean, because yeah, this is definitely going to sit there and kick off some suspicious WMI stuff if we are 100% correct that this is impacket. Legitimate users should not be kicking that stuff off. I am going to say true positive. And we're going to close the alert. And we're going to go back to March 7th. And, is there access to a malicious? Interesting. Okay. I'm happy to see that. Access to a malicious address. I said no, but what malicious address is this going to reach out to? I guess the other aspect would be here. So on the 18th. So I think the only thing I might raise the question about is going to be that particular aspect in regards to the C2. Because looking over the history, everything else like that, I don't think that there's anything that stands out from this. Because nothing's dated. So if you're telling me that, okay, there was some sort of comm traffic out, show me the comm traffic. Oh God, don't tell me it's, okay, no. It's all just. Although, I guess if you were to take a look at this particular aspect and expand it outwards in regards to the 444, but then it's December 19th, 2020 that this is going on. I think this was asked about in regards to that. So if we take the zip file, we just put the IP address in for virus total. DigitalOcean says that she's clean. So that might be the only point that I raise any sort of stink about. Also happy to see that they're not taking the most rigid interpretation for this stuff to go through. There's some nuance to it. Not that I can actually go around and debate to anybody. Except for the team at Let's Defend. But that's not. But then again, this is last month. So I'm not surprised that things might have cleaned up. But. Oh. But again, I think they might have just reused. Again, not throwing any flack at guys and possibly gals over at Let's Defend. But it's like if you're going to be sitting there looking for that traffic, then having some time and date stamps to reflect it would be beneficial, especially if you're going to sit there and mark down. But again, neither here nor there. I'm just mostly happy the fact that they are actually taking it as true positive and malicious, even though there's no virus total detections. So they are at least allowing you to sit there and, as long as you do the research, that's nice. But all right, so there is the first of 4 for March 7th exercises. I just wonder, are we looking at the same stuff for? Nope, that's get server. That is an email, and that is a bit.ly link. Okay, so we're not continuing anything with Anderson. But okay, so I will get the notes together. I will get this posted out, and I guess at the way everything is looking currently, I think this will probably be set and scheduled for maybe like Monday, the 19th, to be released. But so there we go. That's SOC134 event ID 71 for March 7th at 4:50 p.m. I will see everybody in the next video.